Hi guys, welcome to today's session. In today's session, we'll be continue with the building AI agents with CrewAI series. Like we've always done, this is the seventh session of building AI agents with CrewAI. So let's proceed. Okay, like we can see on the screen, in this session, we are going to be talking about context chaining. This is the seventh series session, like I have said, of building AI agents with Crew AI. Here we're going to be talking about context chaining once again. So what does this do? What happens with context chaining is such that task output flows into the next task. So in such a way that we can always have a particular task where we pass it down from one agent to the other. Okay, so all of them, like we are having multiple agents with tasks to be achieved, and the input of one, the input of one depending on the output of the other, where agents collaborate in real time to work on a particular task. And this is the true essence and beauty of AI agents, such that agents do not have to work independently. They do not have to do their things themselves or have to do their thing their own, even if they are going to rely on tools. But they can use all of those impressive capabilities that they have, such as tool use and so on, to work together. Okay, to work up together on a particular task. So that's just like maybe someone that wants to write, maybe a book, for example. Someone that wants to write a book will probably need to do quite a number of research, will probably need to do quite a number of, graphic, designing images or designing some graphical photos, or will also need to, maybe get or collect some data, needs to do quite a number of things. So just imagine one person doing this thing. It might not be as effective as it could be, unlike if multiple people are handling different parts of it. And that's exactly what this is doing, where they are all working collaboratively to achieve a particular goal. And in real work pipeline, research, write, and edit. So each stage builds on the last. Context chaining lets a task read the output of the earlier task, so agents can collaborate instead of working in isolation. So this is the essence and beauty of AI agents, where they can all work together and collaborate rather than trying to do it, doing their thing alone and doing it in isolation. Okay, so by the end of this session, we are going to be able to use the context argument to pass in parameter for a particular task. We're also going to be able to chain multiple tasks where each reads its predecessor. So just like we've said, context chain is basically, passing a particular a particular output of one agent to the other so that they can all work together. So we'll be able to see how we can chain each of those tasks together as well. Then we're also going to look at how we can pass multiple earlier outputs to the later one, like what I've just said. So also we are going to know when chaining is needed versus when sequential enough alone is enough. So we've been working with sequential, and in our last session we did something with hierarchical process. So we are going to also be able to differentiate when do we use context chaining and when do we just use sequential. In this case, like you can see, context equals task A and task B. So this context lets a task declare which earlier task it depends on and when to run. So CrewAI injects, whose earlier task into the those earlier tasks into the prompt so the agent can reference them directly. This is how to build research, to write and edit pipelines, where each stage genuinely builds on the last instead of starting afresh. So yes, that's the beauty of AI agents, such that when we build multi-AI agent systems, each agent, the output of one agent, is what the other agent is going to depend on in order to be able to continue with its own task. So, and that's the beauty we are going to just be experiencing here. To see that we can have multiple agents where each of them work collaboratively, where one depends on the output of the other, where one depends on the input of another. I mean, that's just amazing on how multi-agent system can reference each other and how we can use them. And like you can see here, you can see that task A and task B, listing them in order of precision, in order of preceding pattern. So we can see that task B in this case will rely on the input of on the output of task A. So we'll see how that goes on as we proceed. So here is the high level architecture of how this works. Here you have a researcher agent, you have the writer, and then also the editor. So in this case, you can see that the researcher, gathers facts, the writer, builds context, and the editor, forward the context to other agents to be able to, use in providing their own output as well. Then we can see the code anatomy, the context, and so on. Then here, what we are expected to do is to, have an output that is, is a polished 3-paragraph article on electric cars, plus, quality score over 10 with 1 sentence justification. So we'll see that. So here's the assignment. So you can look at it as well. Then int, so only pass a task when actually needed, when we actually need, more context. And also chain in order of context. We are going to look at that. And also editor rules benefit from seeing everything upstream. Okay. Yeah. So if output field disconnected, check context. Check context is actually set. So yes, if the output of a particular agent feels disconnected from the central goal, so you can try to look at the context if it actually references the input the output of the preceding agent. Some of the common errors like we always look at. So let's go into the code. Okay. So you are going to go into the coding process. So what are we building? You are going to be building a writer. Okay. So one that extracts, we are going to be building three agents basically. So one of them is a career profiler. Okay. So one that extracts key skills from job description. You're also going to be looking at a CV specialist, that's one that writes the CV, and then you look at the cover letter writer. So this is basically, building an agent that helps you to draft a CV and a cover letter. So oftentimes, when you're applying for jobs, online, you'll be asked, okay, you have this particular requirement and want, you are looking for people who are fit for this particular role. So you might find yourself many times trying to fine-tune your CV, trying to organize it in such a way that it aligns closely with the job requirements. So yes, exactly that is what this agent is also going to be doing, to be able to streamline your CV, to align with the requirement, and then also help you draft, a cover letter. So in doing that, you're going to build three agents, like I said, one that reads the job description and extracts key skills and pass it down to the CV specialist, when the CV specialist use those key skills to draft a CV for you, and then also you have that CV output will pass to the cover letter writer, who then writes a cover letter for that particular role. So yes, that's basically what we are building. So to start with, we are going to import required libraries like we've always done. So like you can see here, you're importing OS, import agent, create task, and process, like you've always done for every agent you built. And also, you're going to load a environment variable from the .tf file. So then we go ahead to build, um, to define the model we are going to be using. Okay, we not forget that. Okay, so that's the rule. I mean, so we are talking about, so like I have mentioned so far, we are building three basic agents. The first one is the profiler that extracts key skills from job description. The second one is going to be the CV writer. It uses the key skill extracted to create a CV, and the third one is the cover letter writer, and that uses the CV to build the cover letter. So here we have the role. The role for this, of course, is a career profiler, and its goal is to extract key skills from job description. So we had backstory here. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yes, this is it about the first agent, the profiler, the one that extracts key skills from job description. So the next one is the CV writer, right? So this is a CV specialist, just like the other one was a career profiler. So this is a CV specialist. And so the goal here is to write a targeted CV. Then we should have a backstory here, which you can say, yeah, a CV specialist, hmm, professional CV specialist who writes a targeted CV. Okay, so here you have LLM, Bill. Okay, so here you have the go back to the LLM and okay. Okay, so that's the role. Then you go. So, backstory, right? Backstory. Okay. So here we say you're a cover letter expert, right? Right, a cover. Okay, so then we have LLM, Gemini model. We have Okay. So yeah, that's about the three agents we are building. So then move on to the task. Um, so in this case as well, we are going to be having three tasks for each of these agents. And what's important about those tasks is that we are going to be training them. That is the output of one, I mean the input of one depend on the output of the other. So for example, you know that for us to be able to draft the CV, we need to have the key skills from the job description, right? So what that means is whatever output this profiler is returning to us is what we are going to be using for us to be able to draft the CV. So the task related to this output, it does not need any specific input. I mean, the only input it needs is the task itself, which is the job description. Okay, but it's not linked to any particular agent because I mean it's the first agent that extract the key skills from job description. But for CV writer, for example, it will need the output of the profiler. So anyway, let's see how that works. So profiler. Okay. Okay, so one thing about this is I'm going to get the description of this task. Yeah, so you can already see this is extract the five most important requirements in job description. This is the job, this is the requirement. Yeah, this is the requirement. So then we will have the expected outputs to be of five most requirements. One, right? Requirements from the job description. So that's the expected output. And then we have the agent that is handling this is what? As profiler, I guess. Yeah, profiler. Okay, so this is this, right? Now, so this is about profiler task. And the second one is going to be the CV writer task. Description is write a cover, no, write a CV, sorry, CV, not cover letter, CV writer for a candidate named Chidi. Okay, write a CV for a candidate named Chidi Okonko. So that candidate is fiction, of course, for the sake of testing, right? For the sake of teaching. So it is what do you call it? Fictional. And then here we also have the expected outputs. Expected output. Okay. Yeah. So you're saying in the TV the extracted requirements, right? Tailor CV to the extracted requirements. So the requirements that we are going to be passing here is what we want this CV to be tailored to. We have the agent that is handling that. Agent that is handling that is yes, CV writer. Then we have context. Context here is profiler task. right? Profiler, profiler task. It's okay. Now, so that's that about the second task. And for the third task, which is about the cover letter writing, so you see cover letter writer task. Okay, so here, for example, so here we are going to write a cover letter for Chidi, I mean, the fictional candidate you mentioned earlier. You say, right, we have the expected outputs to be um, for Chidi. Then we have the agent to handle that, going to be cover letter writer. We have a context to be what's the context again? So you have profiler class, and followed by CV writer, CV writer task. Okay, and we also have an expected output file, expected output file. Should be okay. So this is the cover letter we are expecting. Okay, okay. So that's that about the tasks, further task, CV writer task, then cover letter writer task. Now, the next thing is the clue. So for this in the clue, we define the agents, the agents, profiler, CV writer, cover letter writer. So you have the tasks, the tasks again. You have profiler, profiler task, CV, new cover, letter task. Okay. Now, so here we are using process of sequential. Someone might want to ask why. So why is because you see that the flow of the agent, I mean, the way the agent runs is sequential in nature because it's just from one to the other. So it's not delegating. It's not delegating tasks where hierarchical process might be needed. But in this case, it's just straightforward, just from the start to the beginning, just that we are changing outputs of one to the input of the other. So just basically that. That's the only thing that changed. And for that, is still sequential. The only situation where we need hierarchical process is when where the agent needs to decide itself to delegate task on its own. So that's only where we need hierarchical process. So it's outside of that has to be sequential. Okay, so that's that. So I believe we understand for this, then we seem to define Q. So Q.C pub is going to run the entire agent, then put that result there and then complete it. So let's check again if there are no errors. Okay, okay. So let's run this. Looks like I couldn't even find anything here. What's going on here? I don't think I can run anything here. Please let me update this. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So I think we are back. Okay. So let's continue from here. Okay. Okay, good. So from here we can then run so here we have Python crew class 7 is PY. Yeah, let's see. Let's try this. When it tends to close other terminals. Mhm. Oh, description. Since I made a spelling mistake there. Oh, this is so you can see the error here. Supposed to be description, not description. Description. Okay, okay, so let's run again. CV writer, really? Again. Okay, let's check why you're running on an error again. Okay. Hmm. Oh, expected expected outputs. Yeah, expected outputs. Okay, so let's run this again. Don't mind the errors. I mean, those are some typing error we had there. Okay, so yes, you can see the agents are started. You can see extra five was for job requirements on job description. So that's the task. And you can see that task completed. So you can see these are the important job requirements: Python, SQL, 3 years experience, strong communication, experience with financial data. So then that has been passed to the CV writer now. So you can now see the CV writer is now taking over the task, saying write a cover letter for Chukudi. So you can see, right? So before we go to, okay, so before cover letter, so you can see what the second agent did for Chidi Okoko. You can see the CV, the summary, the experience, and so on, the skills, the education. Okay, and then the final output, which is the cover letter for Chidi Okonko. So you can see that here as well, right? Very interesting thing to do. Okay, very interesting thing. So you could also see um, the outputs file written. So let me try to find that. Okay. So yes, you can see in the file, the output file where the agent is expected to write. So you can see, this is the cover letter. This is the cover letter written for Chidi Okoko. You can see the address and so on and so forth. So yeah, this brings us to the end of the seventh session. Again, in our next session, we continue on our journey of building AI agents with CrewAI. Have a good day.